you mocked, you shut us down. Call us names, try to run us out. You pushed too hard, took too much. Now you're the ones who've lost their touch. You rigged the game, you changed the rules. Gaslit the world, played us for fools. But tides have turned, the storm is near. Cry all you want, we're still here. Faithful, fuck around and find out. You tried to rule, but your time ran out. Faithful, the silent will stay quiet now. We're taking back what you burned to the ground. Censorship, lockdowns, all your control. Built your throne on a house of gold. Now you panic, now you cry. Tears don't work, truth don't lie.
All right, all right, all right. Thank you for your patience. Ooh, it's dark, isn't it? Ain't that something? Why is it so dark? It's weird, huh? All right. How's everybody doing? It is Monday. It is January 12th. Yeah, 2026. And it is... Oh, I just look off. I don't even look like me. I'm so tired. I don't know. Thank you for hanging out today. Jesus. We are, we've got 1 hour. Well, till about 10 after. 8. Yeah, playoff football on Monday. It's weird to have it on a Monday, but I think it's the last Monday night football game of the season. And then we have 2 more weeks of playoffs, and then a week off, and then February 8th, the stupid Super Bowl. With Bad Bunny. Oh, yeah, in the halftime show, you got Bad Bunny. Oh, what the fuck is Bad Bunny? Do you know who's at the game? 82% male. 83, to be exact. And you're going to bring in a Bad Bunny? Well, I'm not watching it. Yeah, nah. The halftime show. Yeah. You remember when Janet Jackson's Napoleon came out? When Justin Timberlake ripped it off? And we were like, oh. I watched that live. I was like, it wasn't that offensive. You want to know why? Because the nipple looked fake. It looked like a prosthetic nipple. Yeah, I know that some women have extra dark nips, but it looked fake. So I didn't think anything of it at the time until, well, we're sorry to say what happened at the halftime show. Like, nobody really paid attention until they made it a big thing. If they didn't say anything, it would have been noticed, but it wouldn't have been such a big thing. Everybody would have been like, was that a fake nip? Real nip? Why is our nip? How'd the nip? And my friends, that is called a... What do they call that? A fashion, when it goes wrong. Something goes wrong with the clothing. It was an emergency. Anyway, why was I bringing that up? The Super Bowl show, yeah. I mean, if you think about that, Janet Jackson and Justin Timberlake, compare it to Bad Bunny. You might as well have Aunt Bunny. Aunt Bunny is coming to get me. Remember? She looked like Bigfoot because she had that Billy D. Williams goatee. She was a Italian woman. and Bunny is coming to get me. Remember when Eddie Murphy did that skit, 1982? Some of you were like, I don't think I was alive, Rich. Well, I was. Me and my father watched Eddie Murphy Delirious. It was my second time, my dad's first. That was one of the few times I've ever seen my father laughing to where he was crying and couldn't breathe. That was one of the most brilliant stand up routines. And back then, Eddie Murphy was the shit. And then he came out with Raw like a couple of years later, about 4 years later. Anyway, he tried too hard. All the same jokes, just a little differently. Yeah. He thought he was cute, It went to Eddie Murphy's head. And then he started playing Nurbert and all those, the fat guy in the movies, and he wore all the actors. That was impressive if you really think about that. All right, let's get to work. What are we doing today here in ufology? Humans may be the aliens' pets? Say it ain't so. There really isn't much to talk about. It's either you believe we're living on a prison planet but not by humans, by whatever alien beings are doing it to us. I'm not sure it's the Greys. Didn't we learn over time that the Greys are like the worker bees of the alien visitationers, practitioners, whatever they are? And then I think it's the mantis or the lizard people that are in control, sharing with the humans whatever they're doing, right? And then you have the tall whites that we're beautiful people. We could make these humans even more beautiful. And they combine their DNA with ours, which is why humans have been getting taller. Yeah. That's so stupid. Man, that's the truth. You think I make this up? That's the truth of the paranormal genre, UFOs and aliens. That's it, in a nutshell. That's one of the theories we have heard. That's true. The worker bees are the Greys. The mantis or lizard people are the brainchilds. We use the tall white DNA to create us, the half-breed hybrids. And what was the other one? And then there was another one that did some shit on the side. So, there's a lot of stuff going on. And apparently, there are 4, according to Richard Doty, there are 4 alien beings around the planet right now. Shh, hold on. This is good. You've heard me say it before, but it's been a while. It's 2026. We got to repeat. Richard Doty said that there's good aliens. And we have an agreement with these 4. And then this 5th one came in like later on and wasn't part of the contract that already ended 10 years ago, right? Shouldn't we be invaded, abducted, and moited by now? I mean, right? The contract ended. Or did they renew it? I didn't know any aliens existed. No, you knew. Look at your hair. The guy's orange. I'm just, you know, it, but we could be pets. Think about it. They control everything. The media, right? All the entertainment's controlled by that side of the world. The left side? Yeah. Right. Disney, the media, mainstream, right? The fake news. And Hollywood. That's all the left, right? And they also run ufology, where, I don't know, where, some of the roles that we see, like Fravor and others playing in, have been on TV before, right? What was his name? Fervor? The guy with the egg? Jake Barber. He was on TV, did something, So some of these people actually have TV time. What better people to give a script on what to say in front of the world about UFOs and aliens? Yeah. No. Fravor's the guy. He's the guy. We're going to go with Fravor. Watch him on Discovery. Here he is in 2012. 2002, I mean. 2004. 2004. Actually, he was the same year as the Nimitz. A couple of months before that, he was on a Discovery Channel thing about how he ran the ship, the crew, as I don't know what he was, but he controlled these guys and on the ship, and that was him. He wasn't flying around. I don't know why. Navy guy, I guess. I guess he was running stuff. I don't know. But at one point, he was flying around. So, they probably filmed that in 2003, and then 2004, the Nimitz incident happened. The TV show came out 2 months prior. And the reason I remember this is because I talked about it. I just find everything in this field to be run by one side. That side of ufology, like I've been saying forever. And it's the same people who have access to entertainment, science fiction, Star Wars. I mean, you name it. What are we going to do with the aliens this week? Oh, I got it. Peruvian mummy doomies. Huh? Mummies. Not really. But can I show you? Oh, yeah, show us. We've had our guy, Jose Mendez, make a dozen of these aliens, and he covered in diatomaceous earth. Do you understand? Look at this. Does this look real to you? No. What are you showing me? We're going to bury these. In 10 years, we're going to unearth it. Say, oh my God, we found them. 1,000-year-old mummy dummies. Mummy doomies. Whatever. Then we're all going to have a big parade. Mexico. We'll get Jaime Maussan. He'll be the guy. We'll do it all. That's the conversation they had. I'm telling you, those mummy doomies were buried a decade or 20 years ago, perhaps. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they were. I feel like that's what happened. I feel like this whole thing was planned that far in advance. I'm seeing some of those figurines with the aliens. They look like total alien grays and mantis and all this other stuff. Like it's perfectly, chiseled out. And we know it's all fake because some guy in Mexico or wherever, Spain, Peru, made all of these little figurines and then put them in a cave, said, oh, look what I found. There's thousands of them. It must be a cache of history of these aliens. People bought into it, and now he sells them for $250 on the side of the depot. Actually, they made it into the black market. People thought they were real at first. It was crazy. Remember that? That was a long time ago. That was when I first got into this silly field. Silly field. If you want to help support Truthology for Ufology, all the links are in the show description and on the home page of GoofOn in the About section. Check it out. Read all about us. We are the pioneers of the ufology that nobody talks like at all today. All right. Let's get to work because we've got some stuff to go over real quick, and I don't want to do it quick, but it's over for Lou, for Grush Grush. I think it's over. I think we can officially say nobody's going to trust these two guys again. The diehards will push it, the friends and the fist. A newly released DoD IG report demolishes UFO whistleblower David Grush and his claims. Let me show you what Greenstreet pulled up. Stephen Greenstreet. Unbelievable. Why do we even bother with these people? Seriously, we don't need them anymore. Why is that not going in? There it is. Thank you. The damning 63-page report, which is based on a preponderance of evidence, establishes Grush's dishonesty and quote-unquote pattern of behavior issues. Grush's top-secret security clearances were pulled after it was determined he represented an untrustworthy quote-unquote threat to national security, not because he was talking about UFOs. Quick backstory. In 2023, David Grush, an Air Force and U.S. intelligence official, went public to claim the U.S. government is in possession of non-human alien UFOs and the bodies of non-human intelligence aliens. He provided no evidence of this. Zilch. Grush subsequently claimed nefarious government forces were coming after him because he was talking about aliens. He filed a complaint with the Department of Defense Inspectors General's DoD-IG office, claiming he was stripped of his security clearances in an act of whistleblower reprisal. In essence, they're punishing me because I talked about aliens. The DoD-IG did a year-long extensive investigation into all this and released their final report in February 25. The report was just publicly released via FOIA to the Black Vault. And there's the report. Anyway, the report completely demolishes Grush's claims. And it turns out Grush being stripped of his top secret clearances had nothing to do with UFOs. In fact, internal communications show officials were confused that Grush was claiming whistleblower reprisals, whatever, because of UFOs. Because Grush didn't even actually provide any evidence of anything. One official wrote, and I quote, "On what grounds does Grush have for a whistleblower case? He didn't blow any whistle or bring any light, any info," end quote. Another internal communication in the report shows officials describing the Grush situation as goofy, quote unquote. The ultimate truth is that Grush was actually stripped of his security clearances because he had a history of behavior issues, was untrustworthy, and had broken many rules unrelated to UFOs. The Department of Defense Consolidated Adjudications Facility, DODCAF, which is the central authority that determines eligibility for security clearances, stated it was, quote unquote, clearly inconsistent with the national interest, end quote, to continue Grush's access to classified information. The CIF told Grush in writing, "A whole person assessment of your behavior as identified under these concerns reflects questionable judgment, lack of candor, dishonesty, or unwillingness to comply with rules and regulations, raising questions about your reliability, trustworthiness, and ability to protect classified or sensitive information." In essence, they considered Grush to be a loose cannon and a threat to national security. Wait a second. I thought he had to go through Dobser and got permission to do this. What is going on? How could they be upset with him? They gave him permission. They think we forgot? And how come he's not bringing it up? I'm very confused right about now. At one point, they collected all his access badges and walked him out of the building. They later reassigned him to work that didn't require top secret clearances. For further insight into Grush's behavior issues, Ken Klippenstein exclusively revealed in The Intercept that Grush had multiple run-ins with law enforcement after several psychological breakdowns. and was, at one point, institutionalized in a mental hospital. So it appears Grush has been telling a false story about why he lost his security clearances, and one has to wonder what other false stories he's told. Grush still has not provided any evidence to back up his claims of UFOs and aliens. I know he hasn't. I know. Let's see what John Greenwald put in a video here. I'm gonna pull it up and take a look, see if we can, because he's a really good researcher as well. He's one of the top in the field, of course. He is the FOIA king, and he gets the information. You and I are a little lazy, and maybe we don't have the means or the money to get. Go.
The following is a true story.
See if maybe we can get here.
Or not. Some say they're crusaders that will change the world. Others say they could simply be crazy.
Either they're telling the truth, or we have people in really important positions of government who are crazy.
I have uncovered new government documents that reveal more shocking stories about this group, who I call
We never watched this, huh? I
If
didn't
you've seen
expect
a
this.
news story about
I'm not going to play the whole thing, obviously, but we'll take a look here.
UFOs over the last 7 years, chances are that story came from someone in this group. Many of them either worked in the US government.
Look at it's everybody. I can't believe it. Davies, Elizondo, Stratton, whatever the fuck, I forget his name. I don't know who is that? Weinstreeb? Grush, Kane, whatever his name, there's no P.
Or for the US government, and have been hunting the paranormal on the taxpayer's dime, in some cases, for many decades. I've spent the last few years investigating this group, and I've debunked many of their wild stories and claims. Beyond some spooky stories, there appears to be nothing. But despite this complete lack of evidence, this group continues to passionately push forward, faithfully believing that the truth is out there.
Do you know it's almost 10 years? Or is it now 10 years since Lue Elizondo came to this field? It is. It's 10 years in the middle of the year, right? Oh my God. Oh my God. He has given us nothing. You realize that? He doesn't. He says he's responsible for ufology today. That is something I would never want to admit. This is the worst I've ever seen ufology. The backstabbing, the actual anger. Like, people are doing real shit. Still doing it to me. It's nasty. They're nasty people. And the funny thing is, they're the ones that are running the show, and yet they still aren't happy with, us 15% that are on the other side that push against everything they say. I don't know. Maybe it's 35% now. Maybe it's gone up. It seems like the UFO field is 80-20 in not believing these guys anymore. But I believe it's 80-20 the other way, that they're still hoping they bring the information, or they're delusional and say they did a great job since they've been here. No evidence, right? Zero to speak of. Zero. Yes, there have been congressional hearings, but if what we're hearing is true, then it's a wash. It was a waste of time. Because Grush lied, and he lied under oath. Now, are these the attacks that they're talking about? You know, you hear, and I've been saying, I want names. I don't hear anybody being threatened. This here is an attack. Not from Green Street, I mean. I'm talking about what we heard before I played this. Their attack on Grush. Now all of a sudden he's not reliable, but how? Everybody praised him a year ago, 2 years ago. This is so weird.
And they want American tax.
Well, this is par for the course. This is that side of ufology. This is why I hate them so much. See? They earn the hate.
Dollars to fund their crusade.
All right, we're not going to watch this. All right, we got it. All right. So, new Pentagon report destroys claims of Grush. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. It's bad. It's bad out there right now. They're going after their own. This is the beginning of a change in the UFO field. You're seeing it happen in real time. You're seeing the changing of the guard in slow motion. Who's changing to what and whose guard? You'll see. I don't know. Whoever's running the show isn't going to be doing it any longer. I just have a feeling things are changing, and it's why we're seeing so much infighting with the people who are supposedly in love with each other, praising each other. Now they're backstabbing and calling each other liars? Why? And Elizondo secretly doesn't like David Grush. Everybody knows it, but he still respectfully talks about him, in a good way in public, but behind the scenes, Elizondo does not like Grush. And get this. You remember Vetted? I played the video the last couple of days. The last one was of Elizondo being a grifter. Come to find out, Lue Elizondo's lawyer, Mike Disclosure, that's what he goes by, doxed Vetted. These are children. Children we're dealing with here in ufology. Absolute, immature line steppers. I may be immature. Yeah, you're going to say, oh, look in the mirror. I don't cross the line and do stuff like that. I don't dox people. I don't show pictures of their family members, their sisters and brothers that are underage. That's what these people do. They're so effing evil. It's like, how do they even have any wave of support in this field? It's beyond me. I don't get it. It's weird. And if it's weird, it doesn't make sense. And Mike Disclosure is super, super gay. Dangerous. Dangerous. What'd I say? So it says, Mike Disclosure doxed me. Let me show you what Vetted put down. This poor guy Patrick's just doing his thing, right? He's just information. He's just doing research and not being disrespectful. He wasn't calling out. He wasn't saying names, calling him fat like I do. He wasn't doing anything like that. Actually, he did a very good job of proving what a schmuck Elizondo is as a grifter. So these people say, yeah. Thank you, Mike, for proving my point, Patrick says, while pretending to virtue signal for Lue. Also, show me in my video where I said anything about Lue's family. Show me where I begged to have Lue on my show. Show me this criminal past. Good Lord, it's just lie after lie. Way to help, Elizondo. Time to keep speaking out more and more. Once you dox somebody, like I've been doxed, like we just don't care. And that's dangerous to them. So they might step it up and take out one of our family members. And I wouldn't put it past these people to do it, to somehow do that to one of our family members and get away with it. I'm sure they know of ways. That's what they'll do. And we will never know, and they'll be laughing while we have to go to funerals, because that's where this is heading. These guys do not like losing. They step over the line first and then play victim. And then when you say something or do something, not even close, but you try to stand up for yourself, they double down and do something even far worse. So every day, as a podcaster in this field, we take a chance being the truth of being doxxed and or unalived at the hands of people that associate with people like Lue. He's dangerous, and I know it. And you know what? I will die for what I believe in. So, what are you going to do now? Yeah, exactly. That's what scares me, because they don't have any morals. They have no issues stepping over the line. They're the first to do it, and they will be the last. And this is called cowardice. These are cowards who don't know how to have a conversation, who don't know how to debate. All they know how to do is hurt. That's it. And hurting good people. Patrick didn't do anything mean. So what? He said a few things about Lue that were true. There's no lying. Nobody here lies. We're telling the truth. And if you don't think it's the truth, it's what our opinion is. So now you're going to hate us for having an opinion and telling the truth too? Yes. Here it says, so Red Panda Koala posted this. And here's what it says. Lue Crew perfectly demonstrating Patrick Vetted's points. Mike Disclosure is so dumb. Patrick is a real one and great researcher. Mike Disclosure says, you're correct, Darren. These people are spreading hate and harassment against the whistleblower and his family. He never said anything about his family. A majority of the members of the Tupa Panda anti-Lue crew all have a criminal past, including Tupa himself. Well, I'm glad I'm not a part of that. That also includes their associates and friends who support. Oh, they always say that. Oh, they have criminal backgrounds. The ones that are pointing the fingers are the ones with the criminal backgrounds. It's always the funniest thing. Like Patrick Armstrong, the host of the Vetted podcast, who tells his audience that he's transparent, y'all, but failed to mention anything about it until he came out online. So, he can do it when he wants. Early in the beginning of his podcast, he was publicly pleading to have Lue Elizondo do an interview with him. He kept saying to his audience that he doesn't know why Lue won't respond to him, because Lue's chicken shit. That's Lue. The answer was pretty simple. Lue doesn't deal with people who have criminal pasts, says the criminal himself. This is unbelievable. It's criminal just saying that. When Patrick kept trying to reach out to him, Lue eventually blocked his account. Why doesn't Lue ever talk about this? Why are we hearing it secondhand from little Mike? Patrick then said, I don't know why Lue blocked me. He blocked him because of his criminal past. That's not true. Because Lue's a pussy. These people are some of the lowest scum on the internet. No, you are. You are. You see what I mean? Patrick's not scum. Does he seem like scum to you? I would be considered more of a scumbag than Patrick. if you really want to get technical about it and pick on people this way, if you are smart, you will ignore people like this. Nothing good will come from listening to them. No. You know why? Because it goes against what they believe. They think they have the key to everything, that they're the truth holders of all information in ufology, when in fact, they are the exact opposite. That's sad that they live in this world of lies, that they keep convincing themselves is reality for us, right? Rules for thee, but not for me type of shit, right? It ain't real until it happens to them. Unbelievable. I'm just reading some of the comments that were still going on in that thread. Yeah, so what? Patrick didn't complain about Lue coming on his show. He could care less. Everybody would have Lue on their show. You'd be stupid not to, including myself. I'd have him on, and it would be respectful to a point. I wouldn't be, what's up, buddy? But I'd be appreciative of him making the effort, but that'll never happen. And that's sad for him. Because we'll never get to hear the truth to my questions that I have. That's all. All right. Let me pull this up here. So why Green Street is upset? Let me pull this up. If you want to help Elizondo. Hold on. Oh, never mind. It was not what they said it was. Okay, new whistleblower. Forgot about this. I would have talked about this first. Oh my God, this is so funny to me. I can't get over this. Hold on, I'm pulling it up. This is unexpected. I forgot to load it up. Here it is. I don't think we need any more. Jordan Jozak, I think, Skywatcher, reveals he was a child psionic asset. Here they come. Congratulations, you are now the psionic guy. I knew it was going to make the headlines as I was a psionic guy. Of course you were. Let's take a look at this. Shall we? Oh, wow. Well, let's just watch the video first. Oh my. The video tells everything. So this is actually a good thing. This is one of the few times the video and all the stuff are together. Here we go. So this is the new whistleblower. I already don't like him.
My name's Jordan Jozak.
No, it's not. Oh, I'm joking.
You may know me from the recent Skywatcher series, where myself, among other folks like Jacob Barber, gave testimony about our experiences in covert and compartmented programs. That was last year, August. I gave testimony in that video where I described my first-hand
All right. I'm angry right now. I'm livid, beyond livid. I don't even want to play it, but I have to. Let me tell you why. He's reading. What's there to read when you have your own experience to talk about? How do I know he's reading? Doesn't it sound? I mean, if he's not, he's a very, very horrible speaker. And it's only been, 20 seconds? He sounds like he's reading. All right. We'll start over.
My name's Jordan Jozak. You may know me from the recent Skywatcher series, where myself, among other folks like Jacob Barber, gave testimony about our experiences in covert and compartmented programs. That was last year, August. I gave testimony in that video where I described my first-hand experience with non-human intelligence and the affiliated technology. Today is October 13th, 2025, and to date, no one from Congress has contacted me. So, I figured I'd like to tell my own story this time. Instead of going on big shows where everyone's trying to control a narrative and present their own flavor of the same pie.
That's not true. That's not true. Everybody wants a new story.
I think it's time we have an honest conversation about...
Here we go. Already I'm angered at this guy. You see what he did? He already did it. He already pulled the Bledsoe. He said, without saying it, but he almost did, he's going to tell the truth where everybody lies. Got to worry about a guy like this. If you think about his age, what? Early mid-30s. He could be late 20s, 29-ish. Could be working for the government. Who knows? But listen to this.
Honest conversation about what's actually going on, where everyone's trying to control a narrative and present their own flavor of the same pie. I think it's time we have an honest conversation.
Where everybody has a conversation out of the same slice of pie or something like that. I guess nothing new has come out from whistleblowers. He's going to tell us the new shit and the truth, and I won't interrupt.
But what's actually going on?
I lied.
The truth is, it's not easy to explain. In fact, I'm not even sure if I know how to exactly explain it. But here's the basics. If you watch the Skywatcher series, you saw me claim that I was in a psionic exploitation program between the years of 2005 and 2010. And if you're looking at me and trying to do the age comparison, well, you're right. I'm age 30. In 2005 and 2010,
How did I know? How did I know? I didn't watch this.
I was ages 9 and 14. This is one of the difficult things that we're going to have to navigate if we desire disclosure as a nation. There are very uncomfortable truths regarding the past programmatic nature of the program itself. And quite frankly, I didn't ask for any of this. I was scouted within the school system through the Gifted and Talented Education Network. In 2005, I began a relationship with a psychologist who would come into my school district, and I would begin to become separated from the rest of my classmates. This continued on, a relationship when my parents were not fully given the truth of why I was seeing a psychologist or why the school district was recommending that I would see them after hours. But this relationship progressed for a few years. What was happening during that time was I was progressing through the outer areas of a psionic recruitment program that, to my knowledge, has been running throughout the United States for some time. You don't have to look too far to look back at Gifted and Talented Education Initiatives, as well as TAG, Talented and Gifted Initiatives as well. The problem being is not all of that is bad. However, for those that are familiar with how intelligence operations work, they work covertly. They work through channels that carry plausible deniability. And that was the nature of what happened to me. In 2008, I was progressing and excelling within the program to the point that they removed me from the public school district. And for 2 years, I attended school at what seemed like a very...
Oh my God. I don't know. What do you guys think? So far, I mean, it sounds like he's reading to me, but he's not doing a bad job. I guess but the whole thing just seems so far like it's a script. So far, maybe because I've already had it in my mind. That's what he sounded like from the beginning. But even if I didn't think that in the beginning, I would have thought about it as time went on, because this sounds like a story, not a memory, not an experience to me. To me, you can tell the difference between somebody who had an experience and somebody who's reading a story about an experience. Unless they've read that story 100 times over to get the emotions down, the breathing, the tears, if there are any, you know what I mean? This guy, to me, just seems scripted.
Normal, lockdown,
So far.
scan in, scan out, off-site facility. My parents were just told that I was going there to get better. I just needed mental health treatment. But what they didn't know is that facility was a cover for a much larger program
Of course.
where I interacted with non-human intelligence and its associated technology. I interacted with a piece of technology known as Sylvia within the program.
Huh?
And that's where things get very difficult. Up to this point, the conversation within the Disclosure Network has been solely focused on the nuts and bolts characteristics, the UAP, the
Not really, guy. He's wrong about that. It hasn't been focused on the nuts and bolts because there haven't been any nuts and bolts to be focused on. Now I'm convinced this is a plant. Now I'm convinced this is Disinfo Guy. Now I'm convinced this guy's in here to throw a loop in the straight line. No, I don't know. Something's wrong. Nope. No. Nope. 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 No. Nah. No. And he fits the part of a guy who wants to work for the government, CIA or some 3-letter organization. Yeah. No. And it looks like they bought him this outfit, the brand new Fox hat or whatever the hell it says, right? Look at it. It's still perfectly square. They barely even put it on his head because it's probably the chiefs or somebody in charge. Here, take my cap. Don't bend it. Just place it on your head. That's what all the kids do. Yeah, something's wrong.
the flying saucers and everything human intelligence and its associated technology. I interacted with a piece of technology known as Sylvia within the program. And that's where things get very difficult.
That was a really strange pause. Watch.
Interacted with non-human intelligence and its associated technology. I interacted with a piece of technology known as Sylvia within the program.
Within the program. He drowned out at the end. Either he's not sure about it, isn't confident to say it like he has been. He's been speaking nice and clear up until this point. Now all of a sudden he's got the mumbles. Yeah, start giving a little bit information and we still hear you.
And that's where things get very difficult. Up to this point, the conversation within the Disclosure Network has been solely focused on the nuts and bolts characteristics, the UAP, the
This is how you know it's a lie. This is how you know he doesn't know what the F he's talking about. This is how you know this is scripted. This is a lie. I love me. I do. I really do.
the flying saucers and everything else imaginable in the materialistic sense. But there's a big missing link in how we navigate this. And that missing link is consciousness. We need to have an honest conversation about
I thought he was going to tell us something new. This isn't new.
ourselves. Psi has been a missing link not only within science, physics, but just our overall advancement and evolution as a human species. Components of the program are well familiar that consciousness is non-local. And what does that mean? Well, it means that our essence is more than our body. We can have out-of-body experiences, and we can perhaps imprint or even affect the reality around us.
We don't know how to do that. We don't have the ability, Mr. Theory. Unbelievable. Until you have evidence that you can manipulate the stuff around you and create reality with thoughts, bro, don't even bring it up. Like, This is a stretch. This is horseshit. This guy. This is unbelievable.
So what does that mean? Well, that means that you are very much in control of your own reality. Your thoughts do become things, and the whole age-old addict of The Secret or manifestation is, in my mind, things that are very true, and things that I was trained on to exploit within the program. See,
Is this an infomercial? What are we watching here? An infomercial on the law of attraction? By the way, I do have a very good video in the video section of this channel on how to work the law of attraction in your favor. To me, I believe it works. But then again, the belief that something works can be a distorted view of reality. You think things are working. No, I've actually had the law of attraction work for me. I'm just such an idiot. I stopped doing it because you get comfy in your life, and then you think everything's honky-dory. You stop doing it, and then every thought you had before and all the habits and everything else you did comes crashing around you again, and then something really bad happens. Always. I'm sorry, but it's true. This guy's not wrong, but how did we get here? Why did we go from alien abductions to The Secret? Oh, that's right, because he can talk to aliens with his...
We weren't doing things like getting in a secret spaceship or going to underground bases and meeting with aliens. We were using consciousness technology that engaged with us, and they needed very special kids to do that. Within the program for those 2 years, I worked with autistic non-speakers, and the abuses that I saw committed were disgusting. While I was a kid who had a voice and could use my body, I could kick and scream when the experiments were getting bad. But for those that were non-speaking or non-moving, they had a much more difficult time.
You mean non-verbal, non-physical, non-speaking, and non-moving? Who is this guy? How many times has he told this story? Because those words are the first time he's ever said them. Maybe the second. He probably read this script once. See, what he just did there sounded really off. Because he would have told this story before, and he would have known the words to put right there. Anyway, that's just how I think when I see something wrong. There's something wrong with him not knowing what to say here. You know what I mean? It's like, this is somebody who's a narcissist, who has an ego. This is somebody who doesn't like being wrong. This is a guy who thinks he's a perfectionist. I like to call him a perfectionist in training.
And there needs to be a serious investigation into this programmatic nature. Now, what is the program? Well, that's a whole other problem. Most people understand this component of a legacy program, which in my mind is exactly how the beginning started. However, more recently, every single agency has got their hands on either some aspect of this research or some aspect of the program itself.
All right, I'm going to stop it right here. Let me tell you why. Because I have more to do, and I did not expect that video to pop up. So I played way more than I thought I was going to, because I found it to be interesting, funny, interesting. Do you think he's telling the truth? And the distraction with this guy is he's telling the truth? I don't think so. Because I haven't heard anything new from him to think that, okay, now we're going another direction. This is just a repeat. This is just some other guy claiming to be a whistleblower, claiming to have information which he'll never share because he doesn't have it. And we're just back to square one. And this is a guy who's calling out other whistleblowers for not having evidence, and he doesn't have any himself. You know what I mean? It's like, come on, man. Come on. This is just wild stuff. I want to continue that maybe tomorrow. I'm just moving along. Oh my gosh, Jay Stratton. He says, I've seen UFOs with my eyes, non-human craft and non-human beings. That's what Jay Stratton says. I blame Jay Stratton for the way Corbell speaks about what the aliens are doing, their goals, dreams, and everything else that all the others have fallen in line with come from Jay Stratton and his ideas of what he thinks alien abductions are supposed to be, with made up lies about seeing aliens, seeing non-human craft. Like, really? Really? No pictures ever? Come on, man. You just, after a while, it's just, let's move on. Let's get somebody in here who knows what they're doing, instead of people who are just continually getting better at lying.
20 years researching this topic, working this topic directly on behalf.
Yeah, working this topic. That's what you've been doing. You said it. You have been working this topic, working it over for your own financial gain.
I spent 20 years researching this topic, working this topic directly on behalf of the American people. And I did everything I could and did confirm that some of the things that they're seeing are obviously, completely terrestrial, whatever word you want to use there, from potential adversary nations, from, defense contractors and companies here, commercial sources. However, there were still cases that we could not attribute to any nation on Earth, and that says a lot.
Do you both believe that they're hostile, Dan?
But he said nothing. He literally just said nothing. What did he say? Oh, other nations have stories too. That's all he said. Oh, gosh, thank you. We know that. Next. I mean, that's what he just said. This guy never says anything. He went to the I almost said School Elizondo, Lue Elizondo School of BS. Listen.
And did confirm that some of the things that they're seeing are obviously, completely terrestrial, whatever word you want to use there, from potential adversary nations, from, defense contractors and companies here, commercial sources. However, there were still cases that we could not attribute to any nation on Earth, and that says a lot.
Here's what he said. I'm sorry. I was wrong. I was wrong. I was right. I'm just trying to come up with something better. This is just awful.
Do you both believe that they're hostile, Dan? Hostile.
Ooh, what do you guys think? Do you think they think they're hostile? I'm going to say no. He's going to say no, and Jay Stratton will say they have the potential. But something's keeping them from being hostile. Let's see if that's being said. Go.
Forces, entities, if you will.
I think that's to be determined.
Okay.
I
was right.
We don't know for sure.
We don't know what their intentions are. Look, I interviewed 34
Well, they said nothing.
military government intelligence officials, Sean. They couldn't tell us any better than you could what the intention of non-human intelligent life is, right? All we know is that this is a real situation. It exists. There are UAP penetrating our most sensitive airspace. It is a problem. And even if you can't wrap your head around the idea of it being non-human intelligent life, what are the choices you're left with? An adversarial nation like China or Russia has leapfrogged us technologically and is invading our most classified and protected airspace.
That's what happened.
That's not great either. So, no matter how.
They just told the truth. That's what's really going on. Did you know that? That's why they're so hard on pushing this narrative. China has literally leapfrogged us several years ago in the drone technology, and we've talked about it before. Some of you don't agree with that comment, but it's true. In my opinion, I think it is. That's how I perceive the information I read. And then 2 years ago, was it Hegseth or somebody said, we have now pretty much said leapfrog China in hypersonic technology. I'm like, how? How? How did that happen? Nah, something's going on. It's definitely the disinfo. The disinfo is going. Disinfo agents are out.
How you have to look at it to get your head wrapped around it, it's got to become a serious conversation, a serious national conversation, a serious global conversation. And, the film reveals there has been a deeply hidden crash retrieval and reverse engineering program in the United States. China has one, Russia has one. There is, in fact, a high-stakes secret Cold War race. Rubio talks about this race on camera, on the record, in the film, and makes it clear that if we don't get our act together as a nation, we're going to wake up one day. To quote him, he literally says, we will wake up one day and China will have beat us. And we won't know how they got there or when they got there, but we will be screwed.
That's what's happening. Okay? That's the truth. He just said it. Think about it. Think about it. I promise you. That's what I think is going on. Yeah, pretty wild, right? What else? We've got a few more minutes here. Oh, yeah, we talked about this at the beginning of the show. There's still the narrative going on. Let me see if this is what I already said. Yeah, let me play this for 2 minutes. So the paranormal Chris and Green Street from we just saw, they get called out on Jesse Michaels' UAP GERB interview. That's what it says. There is no incentive for them to hate as much as they do. They are chronically online. They are these weird basement dweller types. Talking about people who don't like Lue, saying that we get paid. No evidence, mind you. No evidence. This is what I call 7th or 8th grade debate tactic, saying this type of shit. You have to have evidence when you make a claim like that. And they don't. They don't have it. If there was a receipt that Greer paid me $100 to say certain things about Lue on my podcast, show me that. You know what I mean? That's what I want to see.
Like the two people we mentioned earlier, you have a guy, I think his name is Basic Chris on Twitter.
Perfect example of there is Stephen Greenstreet trying to...
There is no free market incentive for them to hate as much as they do.
They don't think we could think for ourselves. You understand? Isn't that weird? Like, we're not allowed to not like Lue because we don't like him. We don't like the way he lies. So somebody's paying me to say this? Do you know how ridiculous that is? It's so obscene. You know who does that? Soros with the left. That's where they learn this shit. Because the left does it.
On all of the people coming out, they're chronically online.
Yeah.
It's like they're these weird basement dweller types.
Yeah.
And
that's the left. That's not us.
No one pays them. So you're not making money. Nobody's even engaging with their content. So like if you're, why are you feel like, it feels like you're operationalized.
Yeah.
No, maybe they have their own opinion and maybe it strokes their ego when they get recognized. Lue talked about me. He blocked me. Everybody look, Lue blocked me. Lue blocked me. Lue knows me. It's all about that. Me, right? God. People don't need an incentive to dislike Lue.
Like, who is actually paying you? Where are the incentives? You show me the incentive, I'll show you the action.
Either that or
yeah,
it's that, or they get and probably it could be both for all we know, but also like a dopamine rush from giving a counterpoint to, crap on American heroes.
Yes,
that's
what I just said.
It's so weird, and like,
very smart.
If you're, I actually am pro people being skeptical of, if like a testimony comes out, you feel like it's not corroborated, great, like, come at it. I actually think, the Dean Johnson thing, if given that he didn't have the knowledge of like the fact that, Malmgren had the CIA background, was actually like decently, like rigorously, like written up, although I think it's like totally wrong on all the details. But like, their room for skeptics are good. Like, I've had Mick West on my show. I think, he's seems like increasingly just like a bad actor with the Beatrice stuff. But like,
anytime you show these people the actual truth, they can't accept it for some reason. It's weird. And they call you weird. Right? Basement dwelling weirdo. Because you think a little differently, actually better at critical thinking than you, and we're weird? That's weird.
Like, I do want skeptics are good, but like, be a good skeptic. Don't go after the person's service when like that's obviously like just real. The service is real. Go after the testimony and say like, we think that's kind of weak or something.
But counterpoints of their.
Look, if somebody's lying, I'm not holding back. I'm going after everything they do just to prove a point. Who are they to hoax, to lie to you? Why should they get away with it?
Argument and testimony, and then then debate those.
Yes.
And
but
then
like that,
from there.
Yeah, don't go ad hominem. Like, if you're going ad hominem to that extent, that consistently, without any clear incentive to, like, you're not getting paid from a free market perspective, and you're spending all day doing this stuff. You have to, like, who's actually paying you? Like,
it's, and worst case, they're just trolls who like sowing discourse on social media and infiltrating like a UFO Twitter, which obviously there's a lot of different personalities, a lot of people pushing different things, and just going obviously completely anti against the grain and crapping on people that many people are interested in their testimony and studying, and like
and many people aren't. Even though we're interested, we're not happy with their results. This is why I don't understand that kind of thought. Like, how do they even think this way? Do you not critically think? It's weird. Food for thought, I guess. Which brings us to the end of the show for tonight. We'll be back tomorrow, 7 o'clock. We'll do a full show tonight in about 6-7 minutes. The NFL playoffs are on, so I want to go watch. I love it. Wait all year for that. Wait 6 months for it. So thanks, everybody, for hanging out. Thank you, moderators. Thank you, Jeanette, with the PayPal support. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Jeanette is the angel of Goof On. And no, I'm not going to mention that, but we'll be back tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. So thank you very much for hanging out. And if you ain't looking up, you ain't looking out. For UFOlogy. All right. Alien bless.
There's a thing. It's rotating.